Hello and welcome to a special episode here of Questioning Everything. We are on episode 30. Tonight we are with Flat Earth Dave live. All your live questions, your Q&As, now is the time to drop them. I am with my very good friend Dave. Dave, how are you doing tonight?
I am doing great. I'm just trying to mute my the other. There we go. I had it playing in the background. Doing great. Good to see you. Been a long time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we talked a couple weeks ago. We had a pre-recorded session here, so we didn't get to get the audience participation. And tonight's episode here, it is live, and we got all the audience coming in live. I already see a lot of the chat lighting up here. So, Dave, just basically do what you do best. Present my audience your great findings here. We'll take some questions and comments from the audience, and we'll have a great, loose, free night here. See if I can
Um,
turn it onto you as on the full
y-
screen here so you can get
yeah, it's all right. I'm just you don't have to go full screen. We're good. We're like this. There's a lot of crap going on in the world today, Jake, and people like what difference? People that don't understand that we live in a flat created world. They're like, what difference does it make? I still have to go to work on Monday. I still have to go to school, whatever. It's not going to change my life. And that's the biggest lie of all. It changes everything. And what you do, you're looking into the old world, just trying to find out what the heck was this place. That I find the old world even more mind blowing than the earth being flat. I mean, like, okay, the earth is flat. We got that.
Mhm.
And the two together are, I find, as the best ingredients to wake people up out of their comas. There's so many people that are waking up now. Tens of millions is how we have to measure it. Hundreds of millions, I think. Um,
Yes, indeed.
and they're waking up super fast, and it matters. So if you're here, you probably already know Earth is flat. You probably know that this world is not what even we I think it's beyond
Yeah.
what we don't even understand it. And
It
so if you're here for some reason and you don't think the world is flat, well, throw us your questions, throw us your globe proofs, ask a question, because that's what I'd love to hear. um
Yes, indeed. Any
yeah.
question goes here, guys. We are live and unscripted. Yeah, Dave, just to kind of touch on what you said, it is a great it's great marriage between the two. Flat Earth, the old world history, they both feed so much on one another, and it's a great catch to wake so many people up. A lot of people that started on flat Earth and then migrated to the history of this realm, and vice versa. A lot of people woke up on the old world side of things and then started migrating. Hey, what is the true shape and nature of this realm? So it's a really great 1-2 combo, and having great relationships like you and me have had over the years really kind of helps unite the audiences, unite the genres into one. And I believe that's what a great part of this episode would do is even if you're on the fence about flat earth, much like myself, um you can still reach out, learn tons of great information. I've learned so much information from you over the years, Dave, and as you said, you have with me as well. And it's a great relationship that we have, and I hope that more people won't be afraid to open their minds about the true shape and nature of this realm, and open their minds about the history of this realm as well. I got one question here. Does Dave have any opinions or knowledge on extra dimensional entities like elves or psychedelics? That's
Well,
from
I
Kurto.
I probably have a little more information on psychedelics. I've done not an extensive amount. I've done ayahuasca 4 times with a shaman. I don't recommend anyone does it otherwise. I did do some DMT this winter,
Okay.
and I'm still processing what I saw.
Yeah.
It's wild. And then, do you know about the mushrooms where you take the mushrooms and then you see these little elves, these little people talking to you and waving at you and stuff?
I've heard of those. What ones are they
I
specifically?
forget the name. So The answer is I don't know about. I know of them. I don't know. I really can't speak intelligently about them, but I am fascinated. And as a matter of fact, tomorrow night I'm going to see the Tedeschi Trucks band, and we have some chocolates that
Ooh,
may or
okay.
may not have some mushrooms in them that
Okay.
we will be eating. So there's full confession right there.
I've been sitting on a, I haven't done too much psychedelics in a long, long time. It's the problem with having, young kids, you know?
You don't need
You kn
psychedelics with young kids.
No, that's for sure, that's for sure. They'll make you go out of your mind, many, many times a week if you let them. But yeah, I got like an eighth of that, stuff when, heck, probably when my right before my daughter was even born, I did like half of it, and I'm still sitting on the other half trying to find that perfect time. My daughter's now almost 2 years old, so
You wait. The time will come. Yeah,
the time will come,
there's
yes.
no rush.
How was that ayahuasca? I heard that stuff's really, that's really kind of an
Yeah,
awesome experience.
ayahuasca is the real deal. It is a plant medicine that is not to be messed around with. And you know, there's a lot of people that don't do psychedelics. It opens you up to to evil entities and stuff. Anything could open you up to evil entities. So you have to do
Indeed.
everything um, in a proper way. And I don't think in my opinion, there's no risk. But the 4 times I did it, it was 100% not what I thought it was gonna be each time. Each time I was expecting something different, and it was nothing like that, and the lessons it teaches you are absolutely amazing, but here's the thing, I did it 4 times, it's been years since I've done it, and I don't have a calling to do it again. Like, it's not something like, "Oh, I gotta do it again, I gotta do it again, I gotta do it again." The first time I did it because I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be great, I'm gonna trip my ass off, I'm gonna see stuff," and I saw nothing. I had a black experience. It was crazy, crazy.
That's
Like,
that's awesome.
I was focused, not daydreaming, no monkey mind for 6 hours, and I saw nothing but black.
That's crazy. That's
The
crazy. I
it
hear some people see nothing like black, and other people just, like, see
Oh,
their dead ancestors and all this
other time, my
stuff.
father came to visit me. It was crazy. It was insane.
That's
Um,
why I don't think I could handle that. Yeah, I
well,
don't think if my dad came back from the dead and started talking to me, I don't think I'd like that too much.
no, it was absolutely it was quite wonderful. Um, but then, you know, it's different for everybody, and if you do it at the right time with a shaman, it is it'll it'll take you where it'll clear you. It'll help you move, help you progress. We're here to evolve. We're here to spread love. We're here to spread the mind of the creator, and it's really easy to do if you don't live in fear. Fear, false evidence appearing real. Watch the news. You'll live in fear, right? It's
Yes,
all
indeed.
nonsense. News steering your mind northeast, west, south, right? They're
Yeah,
steering.
yeah.
It's unreal. But I want to throw something out before I forget, and I'm announcing it here. I mentioned it on one other show briefly, but 10 years ago when I became a flat earther, 12 years ago, the Globers, the demons that all work together, their big thing was, "Oh, good luck getting a job. No one's ever going to hire you, you dumb flat earther." Right? And you know, some people took it to heart, but now we're in the hundreds of millions, and we realize we don't want to work with idiots. We want to work with critical thinking people. I don't want to hire somebody that's not a critical thinker, and I don't want to work for somebody that's not a critical thinker. So on my app, I'm just launching a jobs board. It's free to
Awesome.
use, right? And you can list a job or you can search for a job. And it and the pool of people that you'll be looking at are critical thinkers,
That's
right?
awesome. That's a
How
great.
you know just it brings us all together. There's no cost to use it. Um, And if you have the app, just update it. And then I'm launching a video tomorrow that shows you. It just basically you have to go into your profile, edit your profile, and say I am interested in jobs, and then the button will appear on your app, and it's going to be awesome. Right now, there's only a handful of jobs on there, some really cool ones.
Mhm.
But as soon as I launch it, you know, over the year, it's going to grow. And you know, if you're just a flat earther and you have a little deli, you have a farm, you have a warehouse job, you have a corporate job, you have a car dealership, whatever it is, list it, put it on there. And if you're looking for a job, again, the applicants are all going to be critical thinkers. Think about it. you're hiring somebody, you got 10 applicants, one of them's a flat earther. The other ones are just believe all the stuff they were taught in school. Who are you hiring?
Mhm. Exactly, flat earther, yeah, the one that's got a critical mind. That is an awesome initiative, Dave, and
Right.
yeah, I'm glad, yeah, so that's on your flat earth clock app,
Flat Earth
right?
Talk, you can flatearthdave.com. You can find all my interviews. You can find my crash course. If you're like, I need a good video to watch, sometimes you get home, you're done with work, and you're like, I just want to watch a movie, right? I used to love movies. I still do love movies, but I look at them for different reasons now. Um, I have on the app, if you go, or on my website too, if you go to the crash course, there's a list of awesome documentaries that Google will never feed you. And on the app, the old world page, there's tons of stuff right there. Just start watching these things. Turn off Netflix. Get rid of Netflix.
Yes.
Um, and there's all sorts of stuff here. Here you are, right there.
Hey, look at me, awesome, thank you, thank you.
And there's all sorts of amazing stuff in here. But on the app, if you go to the more resources page, um, the video, they're right here. FE movies. Great
Okay.
list. Great documentaries. Awesome stuff. So
There you guys
y-
go, a great hub for entertainment and a great hub for employment. Take a
ju-
couple more questions here as they came
yep.
in. Nephilim Hunter, oh, sorry, my chat's kind of being a little, okay. So Nephilim Hunter has a question for you. Said, got a question. I know you say it's flat, but could it be a toroidal field type of thing?
Yeah. This is what I think it is. I think we live in like a double toroid, and on every toroid you have this plane of inertia. That's where the most physical place is. That's where we live, and we have the different heavens above and below. So we do live in a sphere, you can say. I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
what it appears to be, and we live on this plane. The question is, how far out can we go? Is this dome? Is it energetic? Is it physical? Right? Answer me this: a very small mosquito or fly, whatever, that lands on the top of the lake, on top of the pond, and it's on top of the water.
Mm-hmm.
Is that water hard? Is that a solid surface to that flea?
Yeah, I mean, to it not breaking the water
Now,
plane.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's solid to them. So think of a pot of water just about to boil. You got those big bubbles on the bottom. Now you're a microbe on the inside that bubble on the flat part of the pan, and you're looking up and you have a dome above you. Is that solid?
To you it is, yeah, to your
Well, yeah,
perspective.
but it's holding it up. Like if you
Mhm.
were that small, it could feel like a crystal. Even it might even feel that hard to you. So I don't know what's up there, but I know that we're
Absolutely.
breathing air. I don't believe that space is a vacuum, but you need to contain the air to have air
Mhm.
pressure.
Exactly. You can't
Yeah,
have, you can't have the, pressure without a container. Yeah, exactly. Susan asked here, she says, "Can you explain how satellites or whatever are how they work?"
I could explain how they don't work, and but I love the satellites is a good one because um, people refer to Starlink, right?
Mhm.
Starlink. Now, when you look at satellites, I'm going to show you that satellites absolutely do not make any sense.
None at
Um,
all.
yeah, none at all. But we do have Starlink service. So how do you explain that? Right? How do
Mhm.
you explain Starlink service? So here is you take a flight lately? On a flight, I was listening to a TikTok live. I was uploading a video to YouTube. I was messaging people. I was sending emails. This is great. Been doing that for years. And the way it works is just like when you're driving down a road on a cell phone call, you're relaying from tower to tower to tower to tower. I drove from South Jersey all the way to Connecticut, like 3 hours, and I was on a phone call the whole way, and it never once clicked or did anything because the relaying is just the technology is amazing. So the same thing happens on an airplane. You just relay from tower to tower to tower, and it's no problem, right? But now I get this message: stay in touch while letting others know you're available via satellite. This is brainwashing. Let's think about satellites. Satellites are, a minimum of 350 miles up in the air.
Mhm.
350. So that means one that's directly above you is 350. The one that's over there could be 700 miles away, right? So
Mhm.
350 is the closest to get. So they want me to believe that here's my plane. I'm sending my call up to a tin can that doesn't have any power, isn't able to be serviced, and it's relaying it back down to a cell tower. That's the official story,
Right.
right? If I took all these cell towers and unplugged them, would they work?
Nope.
Right. So we have a tin can floating in space with a tiny little solar panel. Anyone that understands solar power understands that one, it would never work, and two, it's not enough power. And with the temperatures freezing and thawing and freezing and thawing, it would just expansion. It would be dead within a day. Uh, but this is what they want you to believe is going on. The question is, what about Starlink service? We still have it.
Mhm.
We still have Starlink service. So, you've seen the Starlink satellites, right? You've seen this, the
Yes.
line in the sky,
Yeah. They come
right?
quite frequently in my
Right.
skyline in Wisconsin.
Have you ever stood near a 747?
One time, yes, they're huge.
They're absolutely gigantic, right?
Mhm.
Absolutely gigantic. So, I'm just trying to find my where is it? All right. So hang with me. Who was asking about the satellites?
Yep.
So, um, I can find. All right. So these things, you could probably fit a dozen of them inside of an engine of a 747. 747 engine's huge. You can put a couple cars in there. These things
Mhm.
are like the size of a school desk, right?
Mhm.
So at altitude, 7 miles high, you can see a 747, but it's just a tiny little dot in the sky. And you can see the wings, but you can't even make out the engines, right?
Mhm.
So if we doubled it to 14 miles high, you couldn't even see the airplane.
Nope.
These are 350 miles high and they're reflecting sunlight. Are you
And
kidding me?
and they're the size of a school desk, you said, right?
Yeah. So 350 miles up. You couldn't see them 5 miles up, right? 350, but the ones that over, in the distance, they could be twice that distance. So how does it work? Well, sometimes you'll see a light will go out and then it'll come back on again in a different position. I think these are drones.
Okay.
Right? I think these are drones. We've all seen, what they can do with drones. This is pretty
Mhm.
cool. Eliminate all of these except just one line of these white ones,
Yeah.
right? There's your Starlink. So, well, the drones can't run forever, Well, maybe they have better battery technology, but what if a lot of people when they see these Starlinks going by, right? Remove all of those lights except one line, and what do you got? You got that.
Yep.
There's your dragon. They hear an airplane. So what if they had like a big cargo airplane and they were launching drones? Hey, this one, the batteries are running out. So they send one over. This one turns its light off. The other one turns its light on. That one goes in. Elon Musk's brother bought the largest firework replacing drone company in the world.
That's really interesting.
Isn't that
That's really
fascinating?
interesting. Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
interesting, right? But wait, Starlink satellites work. They work. Yeah, here's
Yes,
my
indeed. Yeah.
I found my this is here's a 747. You could barely see it,
Mhm.
and that's 7 miles. They get 350 miles up. It's so 340 miles up, whatever.
That would be
Yeah,
impossible, yeah.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely impossible. So, how do they work? Um, the answer is I asked ChatGPT, I said, how much I was asking about how much power cell phone towers need and everything. It was telling me. I was like, how do the Starlink satellites have enough power? And it couldn't even give me a real answer. Um, but if you look back to the Vietnam War, the soldiers had radios that would communicate with AWACS planes, and AWACS
Mhm.
would relay the message back to Washington because of the curve of the Earth. This is what they're telling us during these put on wars.
Yeah.
So I
And
said
the
that
AWACS planes are, there were Boeing E-3 Century planes, airborne warning and control system here,
Yeah,
right?
but that's the story. So you relay up to them. Well, if you look at the radios that the soldiers had, they look exactly like Starlink receivers.
Okay,
Nothing new under the sun. Same
okay.
technology. So I said the chat. I said, what if we put Starlink satellite equipment on every commercial airline? Because they all have wireless communications now. So we just
Mhm,
put that on everyone. And it said that would be a very good system because one, they'd have a power source. Two, they could be serviced anytime there's an issue because, they're landing every day. There's
mhm.
planes in the air all the time. He goes, and it says the only problem is if there's a big storm and they're diverting airplanes around it. And I said, well, what if they just flew a couple military planes above the storm? And the chat said that would be a very robust system and it would cost a fraction of a percent what it allegedly costs to put things into space.
Yeah, as they say it
All right.
costs so much money to send anything up on these supposed rockets.
And
And
one more thing. We have some Navy, NASA, not NASA guys, some military guys, ex-military guys that love monitoring, all of the airplanes in the sky, all the warplanes in the sky and stuff. And one of the guys I was talking to, he lives somewhere in the South Pacific, and he tracks these planes all the time. But he notices with his Starlink service that sometimes when there's only one plane left in his area and it leaves his area, he loses his Starlink service.
that's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, I have to talk to my father-in-law has, Starlink. He lives way out in the middle of the boonies here in Wisconsin, like, about 10 miles away from any big town or anything like that, just lives on a little small home, and he says it works great, but
It,
yeah, that
it
plane
works
theory is
great.
very.
Listen, if cell phone towers could be 7 miles high, they'd be great.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
need very few of them, right? Where can you go where you don't have line of sight to another airplane somewhere? You know, it's
exactly.
they're everywhere. They're all over all the time.
Yeah, and the big, red flag to me always with those, like, satellites, being used for communication, GPS and stuff, take a satellite phone, take a GPS phone and stuff, take it out in the remote wilderness, and it doesn't work. It doesn't get a signal because there's no towers to relay it off of around there. The one time I've ever, like, was out in the wilderness, we had a satellite phone, we tried to use it and couldn't connect to any satellites. But once you brought that same satellite phone, we thought it was broken. Once we got out of the wilderness back into humanity near satellite relay towers, cell relay towers, then boom, it magically worked perfectly. So, yeah, I mean, everything that we've been told, like they want us to think that, like you said, with that icon, like, manipulation, this signal's coming in through satellites, but really they'll even admit 99% of all of our global communications, telecommunications all come through underwater wires, underwater lines. I seen a chat question about Elon Musk with the Boring project, if that had any link to Starlink or not. I don't really think it necessarily has anything to do with the internet portion. I do really like Dave's theory about slapping those on airplanes. It's a great way to transmit it. High altitude weather balloons as well is
It
another
would
thought I've
be
had with the Starlink.
it would well. There's a lot of balloons going up with with stuff on them. But again, a balloon has an issue where it has to have its own power source. It's not gonna. It can't. You know, it can't do high volume transmitting. Without
Mhm.
running its battery down. Um,
Yeah, it would take so much battery power for those little school desk sized satellites. And like I said, I've seen them all the time myself, in Wisconsin, and on Good Night Sky, you can see them every couple weeks or so. But it was always intriguing to me if this was supposed to be a big string of satellites, a big string of pearls that are orbiting our globe Earth, as they say. Why am I only seeing it once and then I never see it in the same position again? It should be, pretty much orbiting this orbiting the sky. I should be able to see it multiple times, maybe in the same night even. I don't know how long they say it takes to orbit the Earth in one of those
right,
things, but
but you got to think if they're orbiting the Earth, that means they're in and out of the Earth's shadow, which means they go from 500, from 250 degrees Fahrenheit to negative 250 Fahrenheit. right?
Yeah, the
That's the
extreme
end of a solar
temperatures.
panel. It's finished. It's finished
Mhm.
once it does that, right? It would
Yeah,
be frozen. It would the thermal expansion, every circuit would break and it would never work again. Right. So you have to believe in complete Narnia. One of our guys found one of these little weather um, satellite receivers, transmitters. And well, I don't know whether you know this or not. Every day, 12 hours a day, in synchronized form, all over the earth, there's like 970 locations that they release a weather balloon at the exact same time
really.
with these little transmitters that basically altitude, wind speed, humidity, barometric pressure, just everything, just temperature, and all of that information goes back to ground-based towers, and then it goes to a supercomputer, and that's how they model all of the winds and everything. That's where all of our weather modeling comes from these things. Now, the guy found it. He was in a flat earther in one of the islands, not Jamaica, Aruba, maybe somewhere in
Okay.
one of the islands, whatever.
Somewhere in the Caribbean.
I think near Curacao, and
Okay.
he found it and it was kind of corroded, and he took it home and he cleaned it up and got the corrosion off of it and read some serial numbers and did some searches, and he found a website that he can get into that tracks all of these in real time,
Really?
in real time. And
Really?
basically it's called the GONAS satellite system, but it's showing you what towers they're connecting to, but they're telling you that it's satellites in the sky. And it's
That's
connecting
crazy.
to, yeah. There's a video I have on my app in the satellite section that goes over that whole thing. Me, Angels of Light, and the guy that found it, I'm spacing on his name right now. Don't shoot me. So that's fascinating. And these are all over the place. But here's, NASA launches these things all the time. This is
They're
like
the
an eight.
number one producers of helium, or number one consumer of helium
Yeah,
still to this day.
absolutely. They're the ones that control it because God forbid, we hit airships.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
God forbid, God forbid we had airships.
Yeah.
But if you know anything about solar panels, you want to angle it at the sun. This would be like a solar panel for
Yeah.
like at the North Pole, maybe, because the sun would be over there, right?
It's like the angle I have for my backyard security lights, pointing right towards where the sun rises in the morning time. Like, yeah, it would not be where you'd want to
Yeah,
have it
that's not where you
pointed.
want it. But
Yeah.
but if you look when we go up into the sky, every time we send a balloon up, that's the sun is always about the same height as the balloon, not much higher. At
Yep.
least that's what it appears. Look at that. That is a dead on hit right there. That's the perfect angle.
Very much so. Yeah.
So if the Earth was the sun is where they say it is and everything, you wouldn't have it. It would be the same on the ground. You'd have it like at 30 degrees. Like in Connecticut, we do panels at 30-degree tilt.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Michael, you said, unless another theory here is they use old world tech for power from the ether. Yeah, I don't know if you know this, Dave, but the higher up you go in the atmosphere, you can do
Oh,
this with a copper wire. You get an electrical charge, like 1 volt for every like 100 meters or something like that. So
no,
you
it's
could
1,000 volts, I think.
thousand. Yeah.
I,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I might
you,
might have misremembered that. But yeah, like the higher up you go, and you can take copper wire attached to a drone, put it to a voltmeter at the bottom, just string it up. Hey, there you go, right there.
yeah.
And yeah, the higher up you go, absolutely. So that could be another way they power these Starlinks, and I believe that they power these airplanes. I don't know if you've heard the whole fuel conspiracy behind these airplanes.
Oh, I'm way
You're
behind.
right. You're right
I'm,
there.
I'm already there.
Yeah.
On my website, stoplookthink.com, scroll down until you see jet fuel hoax. There's some great, great videos there. Um, so you had shown something about power from the sky and everything,
Hmm.
and I said, I'm going to do this, and I bought a spool of very, very thin, thread thin copper wire, and I
There you
had it for my
go.
drone, and I didn't touch it for over a year, and then I had the opportunity. I was like, okay, I spooled it all out so it's all free flowing. I tried it the drone, went up, I got it hanging, I got the drone, and then I went to grab it to connect it to the thing I wanted to connect
And
it
you got a
to.
shock.
I didn't get a shock. I got jolted. It almost dislocated my shoulder,
Oh,
right? And then
man.
the wire broke. And
Oh,
then
man.
I brought that thing down. I grabbed all the wire. I threw it in the garbage, and I'll never do it again.
Yeah, that's my experience with electrical, stuff. Anytime I need anything done around the house, definitely hire an electrician.
Yeah.
Big you got a big jolt. Yeah, I probably felt it in your heart there, huh?
It literally felt like my shoulder came dislocated.
And
I
and
just
how high up was that again?
Oh god, you know what? I forget how much it was. Was it, 1,000 feet?
I mean, very easily attainable by any, recreational drone, and,
Oh,
that's kind of what they
I go higher than that. So, I mean, but
yeah.
it was a lot of wire. It was a lot of wire.
But, I mean, just imagine if we could make a system like that, and all you need is just some copper wire, you get it high up enough, that's what
And
all
some
those
balloons.
ether
You've seen the
antennas Yep.
balloon satellites, the balloons, just balloons and
There was actually somebody that proposed it, Elon or not Elon Musk, Nikola Tesla proposed somewhat of a system, and then somebody else, uh, years later proposed a system. Of course, it got buried and, shelved, but kinda same prospect with balloons. You tether a balloon down on the ground, have it like go up about 1,000 feet in the air with copper wires attached and generate electricity right from there. Just having a free floating helium balloon tethered to the ground, and you just connect it to your electrical sources, and I believe it could give us free energy.
yep.
And all these wars, like I said, so many things going on around around the world right now. Brand new war, all again for oil, for gas, for resources that they want us to think is scarce and limited. And we have to go after this place or they're going to bomb us with nukes, and we have to go and get this oil reserves and yada yada yada. But there's a better way there, and they deliberately keep that hidden from us. That is what's so important about this, folks. We could be living so much different lives, so much better lives, where we didn't have to toil away, in our 9 to 5s and give over half of our checks away just to survive every week. I mean, and it's just all about these parasites that run the thing. They want as much money from us as possible. They want us broke, powerless, and in the dark, because then we can't rise up when we're clueless about our past, clueless about the true nature of this realm, the true history of this realm, and we're broke, penniless, just making enough to get by. It's so easy to control and manipulate us that way, guys.
Somebody wrote it's the GLONASS satellite. So in the satellite section on the frequently asked questions page, here's the video that we did on it.
Mhm.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
That's awesome, yeah. Lots of great stuff on that app. Yeah, I've had that app for, many years, and again, folks, I'm not a flat earther myself. I am on the fence about it. Definitely know it's not what NASA tells us, but, I
Well,
love
if
the
you
app
know
that you
that
put
it's
up.
not a ball flying through a scientifically impossible space vacuum, you're a
Mhm.
flat earther. Okay, in
I
my
mean,
book,
y
in my
guilt guilty,
you could
I
be a
can't
non-baller,
I can't
a
non-baller
non-NASA baller. That's it.
non-baller, I
There
like
you
that
go.
one, I like that
Yeah,
one.
you could be a non-baller,
We'll get that phrase going right now, we'll make it go viral, non-baller. Yeah, I like that.
non-baller.
I like that. Let's see if we got a couple more questions here from the chat. You guys, keep dropping them. Image, you said, "I don't know why it makes me think of the glitter conspiracy and who was the number one purchaser of glitter and yeah, I've heard about that glitter conspiracy. I don't know if you have, Dave, but there's, like, only 1 or 2 factories in the world that produces, like, all the world's glitter, and apparently it's, like, really secretive where they buy it or who's their supplier or their buyer, how it's made or anything like that. You can't even take a tour of the factory or anything.
Yeah, I heard about this.
I think a lot of it's, like, used for, like, military, like the, chafe flares and stuff they use, like, those missile redirection flares. I think that's what a lot of glitters use, but it's very interesting. Yeah, I mean, same with helium. Like, what is glitter actually made from? It's there's so many conspiracies in this world, folks. It is fun and frustrating at the same time. You go down one rabbit hole and opens up 10 more rabbit holes.
Yeah. Somebody asked what podcast I'm going on next. The best way to find me on my website, there's a button, but also on the app, there's an
Mhm.
interviews button. And whoops, there we go. Let me get that. And it shows you what podcasts I'm on. There you go. There you go. Now you can see it.
Okay.
Look, this is what I'm on right now, live,
Hey, hey.
right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Um, but I was on Brad Lee. If you haven't seen this one, the dropping bombs with Brad Lee,
Mhm.
I took their video. I'm in studio and I added 1,000, not 1,000, 100 images and videos while we're talking. It's probably one of my best videos out there. And check it out. It's 2 hours and 46 minutes. It's his longest podcast he's ever done. I
Okay.
guaranteed him three things when we went there because he didn't know he's on the fence.
Mhm.
And he said, I said, we'll go longer than you expected. It'll be one of your highest viewed podcasts, and you'll invite me back. And all three things have happened.
Hey, yeah, and I could say the same, every time I have you on too as well, man. You're a great guest to have on any podcast. Doesn't matter if you're a flat earth channel, I know he doesn't, do too much, like, you said, what was he, like, a usual business podcast or something, that one, the
Yeah,
dropping bombs
mostly.
one?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's told like flat earth is, people make it such a pariah event, like these conspiracy theories, they want us to distance ourselves from flat earth and stuff, make it like some kind of, kooky stuff. But if you really listen to people like Dave, folks, I mean, he has opened up my eyes in so many different ways about that. I'm, non-baller as it is, but like he's got some knowledge. He's got some knowledge, like satellites and stuff like that. There is no pictures of actual satellites. I've learned that from you. No pictures of the greatest construction project of humanity's history, the ISS. No pictures of it being built in space. It just all appeared one day. I mean,
Isn't that amazing?
if you guys are okay with that, I mean, there's no waking up from that. I mean, you gotta like that was a red flag. That was when I heard that back, years ago. That was like instant. Okay, how do you not have pictures? It's the same way with the moon landing,
Think
how
about
they
it.
erased all that footage. It's like,
They
does it?
they they built the ISS. But they never assembled it on Earth, and then they sent the units to space, and they had guys doing spacewalks connecting them. Right, that would
Mhm.
be the most filmed construction project ever.
It would have been amazing. It should have been broadcasted live 24/7,
Yeah.
If we could do something like that, even though it was like, 20, 30 years ago, if we could do something where we can send all those separate modules into space, it would have been easy to film.
Why
Maybe
don't
not
Yeah.
live, but it would have been easy
And
to
if
film.
space is no pressure, those astronauts in their snowboarding suits should explode. Okay?
Yep.
They should just explode.
Yep.
Incredible.
You hear
Um,
they delayed the Artemis launch again?
is it delayed past April 1st again?
Oh, I don't know if, yeah, I think April 1st is where, yeah, it was supposed to originally, go in February, and then they delayed it.
Now it's April 1st. April
Yeah.
1st. Great.
Yeah,
They're gonna go on
April
April
Fool's
Fools.
Day,
Yeah.
right? Yep.
So this is what happens. By the way, this is by the Science Classroom. So you can find them on YouTube. Subscribe before he gives me another strike. We put a football in a vacuum chamber and it explodes. That's what should happen to the space station, to the astronauts, to everything.
Yeah, and if you look at the specs of this ISS, or listen to, some of the amazingly intelligent astronauts, not really, called, Don Pettit, he'll describe the ISS and what happens if you get a leak, but yeah, they're just like little thin cans, and they're supposed to be floating in the area of the atmosphere where what, it's like 1,000 degrees or something? And it's, doesn't affect it at all. And like I said, when it's in the shade of the earth, it gets colder and then warm, like, heating and extreme cooling. They say, oh, it doesn't affect it in that atmosphere because the molecules are too far apart.
I'm assuming most of your people have heard Don Pettit speak, right? And he's
Yes.
on the verge of being, let's just say, far off the spectrum. And I think
I,
there was
I
either.
think he's I think he's converted more people to flat earth than even you have, sir.
How dare you? Um, so NASA actually put an ad out, nationwide ad. We're looking for one more ISS astronaut, and I think they got like something like 40,000 applications, right? Because everybody wants to be an
Mhm.
astronaut,
Right.
and they chose Don Pettit.
Is that how he got there?
Out of however many applications came in, thousands,
Oh man.
they chose Don Pettit.
Oh
Why?
man. I guess, somebody that, like you said, is that much on the verge of the spectrum, he's not gonna question too much about the,
Well, I think they I mean, I say that most of these astronauts are liars, except I don't think Don Pettit. I think he's just under mind control. They hypnotized him, told him he went to space, and that's why he does these interviews. And that old guy going around doing the big talk show circuit right now,
Mhm.
he's under mind control. He's not an old man that's lying. He's under total mind control, and and you can see when he's being questioned, he has his answers, but if it's something that he wasn't told, he's just like, I don't remember, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just total hypnosis there. It's so easy. Um,
Is that kinda what you think would happen to the, astronauts? Like, I'm sure you've seen the original footage of the press conference from the first moon landing,
Mhm.
and just how, like, mind controlled, almost like brainwashed they seem. They were just for 3 people that just, made history, again, just like building the ISS, they looked like the most, you know, defeated men, you ever seen. It looks like they just lost. They got a blowout from the Super Bowl. Exactly, right here.
yeah,
Exactly right here. I mean, do these look like people that just made history? They look just defeated. They just look ashamed, and that's because they're lying to the American public. These 3 people were, military men. They were Air Force men. They were, serving their country, and then I think, either some kind of mind control or something, like, it just flipped them. They do not look proud of their accomplishments at all.
totally. I mean, it's unreal, and there's so many stories coming out of NASA. Um, the guy that he was gonna he I'm spacing on his name. He did an impromptu press conference saying that when we're a decade away from going to the moon, and then they killed him. He burned up in a fire. And he said to his wife, "If something happens in an accident, it's going to be me." And the CIA had shown up for the first time ever the day before the accident, and were on the launch pad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah. And there's another guy. He had a big report. Then his whole family, and him got run over by a train that was
Oh,
owned by
jeez.
NASA.
Oh, jeez. Of
Yeah.
course, of course.
So yeah, I just made this. I found these clips the other day. People like, what about the sunset that's coming up from? How do you explain the sunrise? Right.
Mhm.
This is a flat runway, and you have a mirage, just like you have a mirage here. You have a mirage, and here comes the airplane, the engine. It's above the ground, but you can't see it because it's being mirrored. And all of a sudden, here's the airplane. There it is.
There it is.
And just like things disappear, and this boat, this cruise ship, they were lifting the camera up and down, and we could see another 30 feet of that cruise ship. The whole lower side disappears.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's another big eye opener when, that P900 or P9000,
P1000, P1000.
P1000, yeah.
Yeah.
When people started taking those to the, beaches and zooming in on those container ships and stuff, and, we were always told that you just see them gradually go under the curb and they just disappear. But when you brought those digital cameras with those super high powered zooms, that's why they're discontinued, by the way. And you've seen the whole ship just brought into view. My area, Lake Michigan, you could see from the other side of Lake Michigan in the Michigan sand dunes, you could see uh, the Chicago skyline in its complete entirety, which it should be under miles and miles of curve
Yep.
according to the globe maps.
See
So,
this guy here? The horizon's really like here.
mhm,
And this is him mirroring mirage. So things disappear. Look, he's set over the apparent horizon, but he's still there. He's still there. You just can't see him because there's a blanket of opacity, right? Here in the, let me just show you. This is a sunset in the same situation. So this sunset, here's the land right here,
mhm.
and the sun is going away. Just jump forward a little bit. It's going away, and it literally just disappears the same way he disappears.
That is awesome. You did that with, like, a drone before, right? Like,
No,
with the
this is just
sunset?
ground level stuff. This is
That's
ground
ground
level.
level?
Yeah, this is
Okay.
ground level stuff. And then here's the airplane again. I spliced a sunrise over it. So let me get out of the way here. Oh no, that's actually this is just the airplane. So this would be the sun coming up from below. It's really never below the ground. It's just this deck of opacity. And
Mhm.
here's the cruise ship. Camera up. We can see this is like 30 feet, this dark area. And then it's not going over a curve. This is just miraging and atmospheric opacity.
Mhm.
The higher up you go, the farther you can see, the more of an angle you have. But it's easier to say things disappear over a ball. That's easy. A 5-year-old can understand that. And then
Yeah.
I combine the airplane and the sunrise here, um, just to show you. So here comes the sun right there. I thought I combined it. It's not, where's the sun? I thought I combined it on this one.
Oh,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
the sun.
So yeah. So there it is, and here's the sunrise. So the sun's coming up, but it's really not coming up from behind anything. Look, you can see the horizon's actually behind here, and then you see this reflection here.
Mhm.
So it's coming up from behind that, and then if I put the two together, it looks like this. Now the airplane's moving off to the side, and I didn't move the sun, but you'll see.
Mhm.
So here we got the sun coming up right there, and it's doing the same thing.
Yep.
It's doing the exact same thing as it's just coming towards you.
That is good side by side right there, yeah. And folks, think of that. All those Starlink satellites, they are so much tinier than that engine that you're seeing on those airplanes, just to remember that.
And
Eh,
so much farther.
yep.
350-mile minimum
Mhm.
farther.
To say that we're able to think them. Didn't you have, like, a physicist or something on, not too long ago on one of your shows,
Yeah,
talking
Angels
about
and
how
we talked to a physicist, and
Mhm.
he was finishing our arguments for us because
Yeah.
he was intellectually honest.
Yeah, I seen a couple of those clips. Those were great clips. Yeah, I said you should not be able to see Starlink for as small as they are and how high they are in the sky, and he had no answer for why you were able to. I mean, clearly,
Yeah,
you know, they want us to deny the evidence of our eyes and ears, and I mean, it's everywhere, and they want you to just believe in some random, these same people that can, predict what, planets trillions of light years look like and all this stuff, and it's just all silly nonsense. It's big, giant, largest money laundering scheme on taxpayers in history, and it's been going on since the 50s, since the founding of NASA. NASA in Hebrew means to deceive, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
yeah, that's what
Yep.
it does. That's what it
Mhm.
means.
Yeah.
They put everything right in front of us. You want to hear my vegan conspiracy? Did I tell you
Yeah.
this?
Yeah. Let's hear it.
So, are you a meat eater?
Oh, yes, of course.
Okay. And so the elite are pushing veganism. So if the
Mhm.
elite are pushing something, that's
Yeah. I always
right?
kinda wanna do the opposite of what they're
Yeah.
pushing.
You'll be a much better person if you do the opposite. So they're
Yep.
pushing. So let me ask you a question. People say, oh, it's to make you weak, it's to get rid of the real man. All right, maybe some of that's true, but I have another theory. Right? With recent events, with certain lists that have come out with information, when you eat meat, do you eat bear or coyote? Do you eat meat eaters or do you eat vegetarian animals?
We eat meat eaters.
No, you eat vegetarian
Oh,
animals.
yeah. Yeah.
Like cows, they eat grass, right?
Yeah.
But because it tastes better, it's not gamey, right?
Right.
So the elite want more vegetarians
So they're not as
because
gamey.
they taste better.
That's that's interesting. Now I see what you're saying. Okay, okay.
Now, I came up with that as a joke, and then 2 seconds later, I was like, "Wait a minute, that's no joke.
It's funny, the shower thoughts are the things that pop in our head as jokes, and then you're like, "Wait a
Wait a
minute."
minute."
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Plastic, you asked a great question. You asked it earlier. I wanna make sure we get to it. So where do we go from here with all this? I'll touch a little bit about that, and then Davey can as
Yeah,
well.
sure.
I believe, the process of what we're doing, it's, the most important thing is, a consciousness awakening, and I've seen it myself in the short time I've been, publishing my content and stuff like that over, 5 years or so. the amount of people waking up has increased exponentially daily, and it's exactly because of things like this, communities coming together, us sharing ideas, us learning the true shape, nature, the true history of this world, us coming together as a community, whether it's flat earth histories being a lie. We come together as a community, doing it with podcasts like this, where, we're on two opposite sides, but we're on the same coin, and it you tell one person, they tell two people, they tell three people and their friends, and it grows and grows and grows. I have never seen so many flat earthers in every single comment section, even, the most generic NASA video, it's filled with flat earthers. I didn't see that a few years ago. This is what we do, plastic. We continue to spread awakening. We continue to wake the masses slowly but surely, not a nudge or not a push, but a nudge, a soft nudge. You just keep sharing this information. This information just keeps going out in the algorithm. Eventually, when enough people wake up, I truly believe we will tip the scales and we will have the largest nonviolent revolution in mankind in human history. It's a great time to be alive, folks, because this period, I believe, will be talked about for centuries to come. Dave, do you got more to
I'm
add to
with you
that?
100%. People are like, what difference does it make? I can't do anything. I'm just one person. That's what they want you. That's where they want you. One
Hmm.
person awake unplugs from the system. And when you unplug from the system, if you don't live in fear, they have no control over you. If you don't feed them, they'll actually leave you alone, right? But they're gonna feed you, and then if you fight back and give them that loosh energy, this is literally a loosh farm that they've created. um, then they'll keep coming at you for more because they love it. They love when you push back.
Yep.
But if you don't live in fear and um, express love, basically this place, love is the power behind everything. Everything is fueled by love, and these elite, they don't have that. They live the opposite of love. And you can
Yep.
call that hate, you can call that evil, you call it whatever you want. It's just the lack of love. And so
Yes.
when you wake up and unplug from the system, everything changes. It's amazing. So where do we go? We're on our way. We're on
Yes.
our way. We can see through the bullshit, and we don't really put up with it at all. So somebody asked way back.
Exactly.
I remember the question I saw that we didn't answer is, what about the 7 seconds of no gravity coming in August? I haven't heard about that. You
Really? I
know,
haven't heard that either.
oh, okay, yeah. So neither of you. Um, Sounds like a bunch of bullshit, but it could happen. I mean, because if the world is electrostatic and they're trying to do some sort of, you know, directed energy bolt into, change the polarity of the Earth,
Some
that would
CERN testing.
that would be wild. That'd be wild. But I haven't heard anything about it. So
No, I haven't either, but I
if
mean,
I had heard a lot about it, I'd discount it even more. But I haven't
right.
heard about it, which makes me like, what are they up to?
Definitely something to jot down and look up. I didn't see that question either. Yeah, that's a great,
Yeah. If
great
we knew
statement.
exactly when it's coming, I'd jump really hard when it
Right,
starts.
see
See
how
how
high you
high.
can jump.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you can get back down in 7 seconds, though, if you're
Well,
not too high
yeah,
up
if you
and
go too high, then all the
yeah.
people that jumped, they all break their legs.
Just make sure you do it
Yeah.
outside so you don't hit your ceiling, folks.
There you go.
But see, that's exactly plastic, like you said. Where do we go from here? I mean, even people like me, Dave, we don't know everything, and we are learning stuff that from you guys in the chats and the comments. I get so much information and learn so much from all of you guys in the chats and the comments. I'm sure Dave does as well. On all of our videos, you guys fill in the pieces that we may have overlooked or forgot to mention and really kind of help fill and complete the puzzle and wake even more people up in the process. So you guys are amazing. And we wouldn't be here without great audiences like you guys.
Awesome. Yeah. Um, I was at a conference with Jay Dreamers, so he's been talking about it. Maybe I'll check him
Hmm.
out. Curious, listen. I'm open to hear anything.
Yeah.
7 seconds of gravity doesn't even sound that outrageous to me, but
Right.
if they're talking about it, it's probably nonsense.
Yeah, no, and speaking with the whole gravity thing, the theory of gravity, there's many portions of this world where the gravity is a different in different areas, right? Like there's
They
portions where
say.
and that kind of plays to like a kind of an electromagnetic realm to me anyways. Um, if this is like a toroidal field, like a giant toroidal field, there would be portions of it where the electromagnetic reach is lessened or more intense, like more towards the poles and stuff like that. That to me proves more of a non-ball model than an actual globe model. Gravity
Well,
should be consistent.
if we have a molten magnetic core, which is impossible, and you can have a molten magnet.
No, no,
Um,
you heat up a magnet and it loses its
if we have a
magneticness.
South Pole, then compasses in the South should point to the South Pole, but they all point to the North. All compasses, no matter where you are on Earth, if they work, will point to the North.
Yeah,
So
that's
that's a
crazy. Even if
problem.
you're in the South Pole, folks, like
Yeah,
you could be right where, like, inches away from where the actual magnetic South Pole they tell us it is, and
and
that compass will still be pointing true north every time.
yep,
It's like it's drawing us there.
it's weird.
Are you guys hearing my baby on the background?
Yes, I
She
am.
just
Sounds
woke up.
very
Okay.
happy. Very
Yes, she
happy.
does. I might pause my camera real quick and just grab her and hand her to her mom so she can cool down. Dave, if you want to just chat for just a few minutes, I'm gonna just
I'll
put myself on mute.
sure.
I will be
Good. I'll
right
look at the
back.
chat. Anyone have any questions?
Yeah.
It's all toroidal. I agree. Buoyancy and density sort everything else out. Um, that's true. Uh, most of you have seen my gravity demonstration. I had something new that I just added the other day. Let me see what it is. Um, I don't remember what it was. Oh, this was a good one. So this one I got a message from who did I get it from? They said, I'm sitting with a pilot. So wait a minute, is this oh here we go. Said, I'm sitting with a guy who wants the Bitcoin because I offer 3 Bitcoins for 1 gold proof. He's a pilot. He said the earth is round and he can prove it. He wants to know when he's flying from North Dakota to Vegas, he takes a 223 degrees heading um, and on autopilot, but when he ends up, it's at a 215-degree heading. Why, if the earth is flat, would it be 223 degrees the whole time? Now, I hadn't looked into this at all, but I said, all right, let me take a look at this because I'm sure it works perfectly on a flat earth. So here we have the flat earth, right? And this is the compass that they give us, which is false, right?
Hmm.
North is in the center. These directions are all wrong. They're all wrong. Every single one of them except this one. South is right, but
Hmm.
that's also south and that's also south. It should be like this. This is south. South is every direction away from north, and west is a circle clockwise, and east is a circle counterclockwise, right? Because if you had a
Hmm.
compass, it points towards the north the whole way. So you have to keep it there. East and west are not straight lines on a flat Earth or a globe Earth. Only north and south lines are straight lines. Okay, so this would be west. This is how you would circumnavigate west and end up right back to where you started from. Your compass needle would always be pointed towards the center. You go all the way around 270 degrees. You come right back. You went around your town. Doesn't make your town a sphere.
Right.
You put a compass down. You got to keep turning the compass. The north south lines are always on these straight lines. They go through the north south line. So the compass turns. On a
Hmm.
ball, an airplane in the north has to keep turning. Whoops, has to keep turning to the right. Has to turn, has to turn, has to turn, has to turn, has to turn to maintain a heading of 270. The closer you are, the tighter the circle. But in the south, the airplane would have to turn left to go around the South Pole. But we have ship's captains that say when they're in the Southern Ocean, whether heading east or west, they always have to correct to the north. That
Hmm.
goes against the globe. Now, it's all hearsay because I wasn't there, but it's something that we could test.
Yes.
So this would be 270 is around that way, whether you're here or here. Now, here is North Dakota, and here is Las Vegas.
Hmm.
Here's 223 degrees, and here's 215 degrees. So I got my compass lined up north south, and here is 223 degrees. and I got my compass lined up north south out here. It's a little turned. It's a little clockwise turn from this one, and here is 200 is 215 degrees. If I draw a line, it takes off, right? It's paralleling this line. 223, 223, 224, 221, 220, 215. It just slowly changes as it goes out here. This straight line is not, if you wanted to maintain 223, you'd have to keep turning.
Mhm. Very interesting indeed.
Yeah. So there you go.
Here's an idea somebody has for the app. I have an idea for the app, perhaps a button that's a energy for energy technologies, cheap energy equal true freedom. That's a good idea for you. Like how we can apply some of this old world tech to our everyday lives. Be a great idea.
You can go into the chat section and you can create a group of,
Okay.
old world group, and have people join it. And then you kind of go in there and you could set up meetups on the app. It's got a meetup maker. If you have the app, make sure you set your meetup maker to alert you when anyone creates a meetup within whatever radius you pick. That way you'll get notified, and you'll get an email telling you that there's a meetup in your area,
Hmm.
which is pretty cool. And for those of you out there that are awake and aware to this world, I have and you're tired of being alone. I have a dating site,
Okay. Okay.
literally, right? So I have myself set as 1 year old. That way I won't show up in anyone's search because I'm happily married. But I'm looking for a woman between this age, within 1,000 miles. I can hit search and it's going to tell me all of them. But I've already hearted 19 of them, so I'll click that heart, and it shows you these are the 19 that I was interested in, right?
Okay.
Uh,
Okay. That's it.
and then
That's awesome.
you can message them, send them a message. You can do video calls on this app. You can do group video calls. You can do everything. It's pretty robust.
Watching your
Um,
app evolve over the years since I've got it,
yeah,
it's been a great, yeah.
it's done a
So
lot. Yeah.
yeah, $3 and you have it forever, like Plastic said. Yeah, absolutely. It's been $3 well spent and on my end. And just yeah, you as you said at the beginning of the show too, you not only have the dating app side for, flat earthers, open-minded people, you also have the job search and the job postings for flat earthers, open-minded people as well. So, it's a great that's it's not just for flat earthers, folks. It's, anyone that is awakened to the lies. I mean, you could just you'd be a non-baller like myself here, and there's a lot of great community to connect right there on Dave's app. It's
Yep. Like-minded
$3,
people,
like
like-minded, open people,
yes,
right?
indeed.
Flat Earth, old world, it all goes together. It all
It
goes
does.
together. None of it works on a globe because we'd all be dead.
Indeed, indeed, and everything I tell is about the globe, it's a lie.
Yep.
NASA, like I said, NASA Hebrew is Hebrew for to deceive,
Right.
and they have done a great job at doing that for us.
Just one thing, it is $3 one-time price, but if you want to go use the profiles, if you want to use some of the search features, you want to use some of the higher level stuff that costs per use, there's an $11 a year subscription, which is optional. You don't need it. You get all the frequently asked questions, you get all that stuff. It's $11 a year, and if you refer the app to 11 people, you get a free year.
Okay, okay, that's great. That's
Yeah.
great to know as well. Yeah, I mean, you've done a great job with that app.
Thanks. It's been it's been a labor of love, and it's not done. The long. I always thought, oh, now I'm done with the app. I'm never done with the app. Look at the United States. These are the people that are using the friend finder.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that
Oh, wow.
crazy?
Oh, wow, and I remember seeing that, like, years
Yeah.
ago, a few years when you first launched that friend finders,
Yep.
portion, and you had a lot of people on there, but wow, it is, like,
Yeah.
just
It's
completely populating all over now, it's awesome.
yeah. So that's a good. It shows us, and I would say this represents less than 1% of the flat earthers. There's so many flat earthers that
Yep.
have I don't even know who I am. And
Yeah.
it's amazing. So we got 230,000. But it says 230. Yeah, just over 230.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Pretty
That is a
crazy.
that is a great amount of, open-minded, free-thinking truth seekers out there.
Non-pin. Most of them are non-pin cushions.
Yeah. Okay.
That's good also.
Plastic said whoever's is in charge is in a very demonic sick group. Yes, yes, that is very true. The parasites,
Yeah,
whatever they are, I mean, it's like I've said before multiple times in multiple episodes. We have been born into a war of good and evil,
yeah.
and the demons are in charge. I think it's Satan's short season, though, folks. I think good wins. God will prevail, as always has, always will. Fear not.
Someone's asking if I still do crypto, and so we created the Dome coin.
Mhm,
Dome. It's called Dome Shot, but you get it for free. Okay,
mhm,
so everyone relax. You get it for free. You trade it for free. If you go here in your profile and you click your this is your referral section.
mhm.
Um, I have 289 referrals. So for every referral, you get a point. And if you have a wallet address here, either MetaMask or Internet Money Wallet, you just put it in there. You get like 2 million Dome coins for every referral. So it just
Okay,
comes in for free. You can trade them with other people. Eventually, you're going to be able to use them to buy subscriptions, for discounts to conferences and all sorts of stuff. So, and
okay.
also, if you're a non crypto person, it teaches you how to open a wallet, how to transfer stuff, and what's the risk? Zero risk because you didn't put any money in.
There you go. What kind of conferences do you have coming up? I know,
I just did Anarchapulco, which
mhm,
actually will be. I'm featuring it on the app this Sunday. It'll be the featured video right here. Every day there's a new video, and so my presentation at the conference is going to be featured on the app, available for everybody on Sunday. Um, there's the Guru Gathering. Do you know who Conspiracy Music Guru is?
yes,
All
yes.
right. So he's having a big gathering concert. It's going to be more of a, it's just more of a social gathering and
Mhm,
concert. He's got a whole band together in Spain, and it's in September.
okay.
Check it out at conspiracymusicguru.com. I'll have some stuff on the app too. I'll be interviewing him soon, and that's going to be a blast in September.
That does sound like fun. Are you going down to Spain
I
yourself then,
I
or
am going I am going over to
Ooh,
Spain.
oh, yeah, over to Spain.
Over
Yeah, I
to
don't know why I
Spain.
said down to Spain. Everything's kinda down for me, though, in, Wisconsin. I'm in the Great North. We got I don't know if you've seen that, big what do they call it? A polar vortex bomb or something. We got, like,
Oh,
26, 30, or, like, between 26 and 30 inches in this area alone, like, pretty much, within a day and a half span. It was crazy, and we just had, 60 degrees, less than a week beforehand, and then we just got hit with this polar vortex bomb in Wisconsin, just buried us in for some time, and just have you noticed the oddities in the weather and stuff as well? Like how it's just we seem to have these weird bipolar swings and these weird
yeah.
extremes of weather, and I don't believe it's the whole man-made climate change, yada, yada, yada. I think it might be part of that whole cycle we talk about,
I
these
don't think
reset cycles.
I don't think any of the weather is natural. I think they're doing all sorts of stuff to change the atmosphere. I mean, our sun's white.
Mhm.
Could that be because of all the spraying in the sky?
It
And the
used to be
sun is
yellow.
in the sky. It's not 93 million miles away. Hey, somebody said my app's $11 and it's $3. Three times 11 is
I seen
33,
that.
but
Yeah.
it's really 299 and 1099. So you're debunked.
Yeah, yeah, you add the tax in and it goes past that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
So
good
so
point, that's a good
it's
point.
not 11. It's 1099 and 299.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure you thought of that before you put that out there. Um, yeah, I mean, that's a good point. You think a lot of this weather is man-made.
Yeah.
I've been hearing a lot about, the whole winter thing, was very interesting to me coming, from the great North Wisconsin. So you think like winter and stuff like that is a manufactured thing?
Well, I mean, winter makes perfect sense on on the flat Earth with the sun going in and out. But I
Mhm.
think some of these cycles that we're having are totally manipulated.
I agree. You could see it like I seen it, the whole spraying of the sky. They're not contrails, they're chemtrails. There's a different
Right. 100%.
contrails, you'll see them, completely been in planes for years. Since I was a kid, I'd seen them, but they dissipate right away. They pretty much
Yep.
as soon as they come out of the plane, you'll see them like just disappear right behind it. What a chemtrail is, that's something a streak that comes out of the plane, looks like a contrail, but it stays and lingers and expands. It makes your sky hazy and white. Um, and I believe, that's they do
Did
that not only to block the sun, not they always seem to do it heavy on sunrise, sunset, at least in my area, but you'll see it kinda
during
like clockwork.
eclipses, they go
Yep.
crazy during
Yep.
eclipses. Did you see the video that came out recently of a close up of the nozzle on a plane spraying this white liquid?
No. Do
It's
you got that
it's
available?
ah, I don't I
Do you want me
don't
to
know.
call you out, on the spot? But no, I've seen tons
I
of
I could
chemtrail
I
videos, so
could
yeah.
I could I could pull it up. But let me just show you this real quick. So
Yeah.
I was in the Yucatan Peninsula right here, and it was 90, 95 degrees, and in the Northeast it was -10,
Mhm.
right? So the distance difference is 0.00003% farther, right? And that the sun is that much far. That's nothing, right? And if you think about it, the spin of the Earth changes that changes your distance from the sun more than 1,000 miles.
Mhm.
So 100-degree difference. It makes no sense. But on a flat
No.
Earth, the sun was here, and it's twice as far from here. So if you're standing right next to a campfire, toasty warm, and you're 5 feet away, now step 10 feet away. You're not as warm anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes no sense otherwise.
No. Yeah, and couple things in the comments about the app freaking out. "Oh, that app can track you." First of all, if you have a smartphone, anything, everything's tracking you these days. I'm sure
Right.
there's location settings if you don't want to be tracked by the app. There's also VPN settings, you can turn those off as well. But
Right.
yeah, plastic, you said
And
everything is tracking us. Yeah, you
also, the app actually obscures your location. It doesn't show your exact location.
there you go.
So, if anything, you could say that it actually messes them up if they're trying to track you, but they already know where you are.
They don't
So,
need a smartphone. They don't need a
yeah,
smartphone to even track you. Even if you don't have a smartphone, even if you try and live under a
right.
rock, the government has ways to track you long before smartphones even been around where, they can pinpoint your exact location. I mean, they got, tracking software that's the size of, smaller than a grain of rice, that can just be dropped on you, dropped on your person anywhere and everywhere. Most people that don't ever care about to track. So, I mean,
Yeah.
really, don't there's great things to have conspiracies about, but, yeah, everything's tracking you, folks, and it's not for nefarious purposes, and like Dave said, a lot of them are obscured, like his app, and you can always turn those settings off.
Yep. I thought I thought I uploaded that video to X, but I
Yeah,
don't.
they just can't find Savannah's mom. Yeah, that's a great point, Plastic. Yeah, they can track us everywhere, but they can't find Savannah's mom.
Yep. Um, I guess I did not upload it to X.
Oh, no worries, no worries. Yeah, 1984, but we're carrying it with us everywhere, even the toilet. Yeah, and it's so hard to get away from those smartphones, great
But we
point.
we we are using their technology against them, just like we're using Zoom
Exactly.
and the internet against them right now.
Mhm, exactly.
Yeah.
The tools of evil can be used for good, and that's exactly what, all these social media sites, they never wanted to have people like flat earthers like Dave on there. They never wanted to have people that question the narrative of the history of this earth like me on there, but we got on there, we got followings, we grew communities. We are using their tools against them every single day, and, it's what do you wanna doom scroll to? Do you wanna doom scroll to a bunch of people twerking on TikTok or whatever? Or do you wanna doom scroll to stuff that, wakens your mind, opens you up to new possibilities, new questions that you've never asked yourself before? It's all about how you use these tools. You can use them for good or bad as they're intended to. Social media has done a lot of detrimental things for us as a society, but I also think it has done a lot of good in cases like this.
Right. Um, Here I can show you. I'm going to do it a very archaic way, like this. There you go.
Oh, wow.
So this is a plane, and it'll just show you the valve. There's the valve right there.
Oh, wow. And I believe a lot of these planes, you see that one's clearly a military one. It's like what, a C-130, I think.
Yep.
Um, but a lot of these planes you see in the sky, folks, there's some kind of cloaking fields on them. I don't know if you've ever seen this, Dave, but if you zoom into certain planes,
Yes, I
they
have.
distort visually. I've seen it myself. You just take your smartphone if you have a good enough zoom on it. It looks like a perfectly normal, Boeing or whatever to the naked eye, but when you zoom in on it on a camera, it starts distorting. It's changes into not a plane. Um,
I've seen a plane in itself turn into an orb.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
I've seen that too. There's so much stuff like that out there. The orbs are another thing. Personally, I don't know if you've seen them. I see them almost every night up here. I got, very little light pollution, but I have seen, and it's crazy because I've been a sky watcher my whole life. I've, one of my two favorite shows. That's what it's always broke my heart that the space is such a lie and so fake. My two favorite programs growing up, I was a space nerd, Star Trek and Star Wars.
of course.
So I was always looking for those big UFOs,
But but
ET to come home and stuff. But I never
but
seen any of these orbs, but
but
now the last
now,
5 years, they're everywhere.
you know what? If you want to believe in space, right? That's a belief. You know,
Mhm.
um, flat Earth is way better because it could be. This could be the outer space right here, right?
Yes.
These are extra territory. The extraterrestrials are just a couple thousand miles away
Mhm.
here, enclosed,
Mhm.
right? And if you really want to go crazy, go to the this map.
Yes, that one.
Right. These are all other pieces of the plane, planets. So here's our local pond. We live here, and here's are these other worlds just a friggin' long plane flight away.
Yeah, and that map kind of has always resonated with me. I don't know where it came from, who
Wait,
created it.
this
It's been
map
out.
resonates for you and you're not a flat earther?
Well, yeah, it resonates with me because I do believe, there is more lands, absolutely.
Okay.
And could it be
Repeat
completely
after me,
flat?
Jake. I
I
am a
am a
flat earther.
flat earther, maybe adjacent. Okay. I'm
All right.
definitely
You can be flat earther adjacent. I'll go with
I
that.
will, I would be if I had to choose between the 2
Non-glober.
camps, I would be on your camp every day, over
Non-glober. Okay.
NASA's
Non-glober.
non-glober,
That's fine. I
absolutely.
get it.
But, yeah, I mean, that map resonated with me, like I said, because, yeah, it does make sense, all these extra lands that, whether it's resources, um civilizations and stuff, they don't want us. I think we are in kind of like a prison planet almost, whatever we are. They don't, we're in a perfect system, a enclosed system where we can't see the bars of our cage. And you mentioned that in the last episode we did together,
I showed
a
you
lion.
Kiribati, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a lion, they see the bars of their cage, they don't care. But if we see the bars of our cage, it doesn't matter if it's a big cage, small cage, million mile large cage, when we get to those bars at
We
the
wanna
end.
know what's on the other side every time.
Exactly. The best way to make us never want to know what's on the other side is to make us think we can never go any further and we
Make
don't see the
there is
bars
no
of
other
our.
side, right?
Exactly. That's where Kobe Lives Plastic said, "Hey, yes, I don't." Yeah, that's good. That's funny. Well, Kobe, they say, I don't know if you've heard this, like a lot of these celebrities and stuff are the fallen angels. They're
I
just,
heard that, and
yeah,
boy, does that resonate with me.
yes. I think, I don't know, Fittest Flat Earther or something. I don't know if you know who he
Oh,
is.
I know who he is.
Yeah,
He went crazy on me and everyone else, but
yeah, I think he's, I've seen some of his videos about that. I've seen it around for
as
years. It resonates. Same with, they say there was, around 200 fallen angels, that fell from heaven, and left
there's
craters on the earth. And if you look it up, how many craters there are
like 200.
exactly, there's 200. That kind of resonates with me. And then you see all these celebrity doppelgangers from throughout history. I mean, 1 or 2 of them, you could say, "Okay, that's just coincidence. That's just, similar looking people," but there's just tons of examples of them, and it's just very eerie, and these celebrity deaths, and they're all coded, and they're all, how many celebrities die at 33 and stuff like that, and then they just disappear for a while and come back, in a few hundred years or 100 years. I mean, time is irrelevant to them. It's we are just small fish in this big, large pond, and they want us unaware of the true history, the true nature, what's actually going on in this world. Their whole game is deception, folks. Whether it's the shape and nature of this earth, the history of this earth, it's all the same to deceive us, to keep us blind and ignorant.
100%.
Yes, sir. Any other questions you see we missed here? We can kind of wrap up for the evening. Got a couple more we want to take. Let me see here. As in descendants of Nephilim or Nephilim themselves. So yeah, Michael. Well, they say Nephilim were part of the fallen angels, the breeding of the fallen angels with the actual humans, the actual inhabitants of this realm. That was the original Nephilim, I believe. At least one of the theory. I think they're the offspring of these fallen angels, the Nephilim.
Yep, and that's what I was talking about was Gus Grissom.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's see, get a couple more questions here, and then we can wrap it up. Dave, I appreciate you coming on live with us here tonight. Had a lot of great audience feedback, a lot of great comments, and a lot of great discussions. And like you said earlier, Plastic, where do we go from here? This is how we go. We are on this ride already, folks. You might not realize how much progress we've made being in the trenches every day, waking up, realizing we're living in this system, this matrix of lies and controls, but we have made a dent. I believe we are in a great time to be alive. It's always darkest before the dawn, folks. Might not look like it, might look hopeless at times, but have hope. Fear not. Good is in control, and
Do you know
God
who
will win.
do you know who Chris Bledsoe is?
Yes, yes, yeah, he's those predictions that he's making, right?
Yeah. Well, he made him like this was like
Yeah,
2002 or 10 or somewhere around there. It was like a while ago.
like 20 years ago, yeah.
Yeah. And he says that the big shift is going to happen in April of 2026.
Yeah, be watching for it, folks, and he's
Uh,
been right about this Iran war and all this stuff going on right now,
everything. Yeah, he said when Iran and Israel attack each other, that's when
that's what
everything's going to shift. Consciousness will shift.
I believe it, and, I
Hey,
mean, just look at this, it's such a weird world we live in. We have an administration that ran on no wars, no foreign involvement, all this stuff, and everything that they've ran on, it's been exactly opposite. Um, and it's a weird when everything is an opposite world, when the news, when the media and stuff makes less and less sense to you guys, it's we're at the end game, basically. Um, we're at that precipice, we're at that cliff.
so the app name is the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, but the easiest way to find it, because there's knockoffs in the Google Play Store, is just go to flatearthdave.com and click the banner at the top of the website. Flatearthdave.com, click the banner, it'll take you right to your app store,
Okay,
and you can get it there. Flatearthdave.com. Can't miss it.
awesome. Dave, thank you so much for being on the program tonight. I'll let you go unless you have anything else to add.
That's it. I'm good. Thanks for having me. Good. It's always good chatting with you. I want to see
Yes.
more on airships. You need to put together like a feature length hour film on just airships. You have the content, put it together, edit it together, get someone to help you, put some music behind it, narrate part of, it'll be amazing. It'll be amazing. And it wouldn't even be that hard for you.
Yes. Yeah. I've had a show on airships, about an hour show, but yeah, I really do.
Just you need to put something to like someone's like they're giant airships. Oh, watch Jake's movie. Watch
Yes.
Jake's movie. Just like Earth is flat here. Watch these military guys, right? We have a video with these military guys telling you that it's flat.
I need the better computer for that. My computer sucks when it comes to editing videos and stuff like that, but that
I
is
get
my
it.
goal. That is my
Yep.
goal to put in these longer form videos, and this podcast has been a start of that. Um, my end goal is to travel the world to sites where all this old world stuff is, like, Grand Canyon, stuff like that. Boots on the ground documentary. People like Desert Drifter, rest in peace to him. He laid the groundwork for stuff like that. Did you hear about him? The mysterious white van, that drunk driver that just after he found some interesting potential, like, portal stuff and whatnot at the Grand Canyon, and then he was just driving home late at night in a white, cargo van. Drunk driver just slammed into the back of him going, like, 50 miles per hour after he made all these breakthroughs. Just like you said, it's just,
Yeah.
every time
So
somebody comes out, conveniently enough, something like that
huge parts
happens.
of the Grand Canyon are off limits, right? There's Egyptian stuff down there. And I just watched a documentary just yesterday, I think, on Machu Picchu, where like 80, 95% of that is off limits. And the
Yes.
stuff that they're finding under there, it's crazy.
And they don't even let any more
Yeah.
excavation or any more,
Yeah. And
archaeologists go down
and
to Machu Picchu. It's basically just they don't
yeah.
let any more digging up of it.
And Kenny from my lunch break with the catacombs, he just put out another piece on the catacombs. That
Mhm.
is incredible. You know about the catacombs,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Hundreds of miles. Where did these people come? Who took those femur bones and skulls and made all of those,
Yeah.
stacked them geometrically, symmetrically?
And the most, very odd, like, demonic temple type altar rituals, and, like, that's in Paris primarily, but there's other ones like that. Paris is just the
Yeah.
big one where there's millions and millions, and officially, the story is that they were, overflows from the Paris
So
cemeteries.
stupid.
But yeah, so they were taking these plague corpses primarily is what they were, and they were obviously having to boil and strip down all the tissue off of these bones to arrange them in that manner, and to just think about that, it was such a stupid explanation. Miles and miles of underground caverns, and very little of it is explored still. Like, to this day, there's tours of it,
Yeah, and how do
little
you
portions.
like you don't have room to get rid of the bones, but you have the time to dig underground caverns to put the bones in and put them
Right,
in such meticulous order.
right.
Someone's got a bad case of
Yeah,
ADD.
yeah, ADD, OCD, yeah, and I mean,
OCD, OCD.
with
Yeah,
no heavy
OCD.
machinery, no steam excavators, nothing like that,
Yeah.
nothing like the Elon Musk boring company, and that's just one spot. There's catacombs in Rome, there's catacombs in the Ukraine, Russia, all filled with these bones. So I always tell people when they say, "Where did all the remains from the mud flood, from the resets went?" I believe that's where they stacked a lot of those remains were in those catacombs, and they almost did it in a sadistic, satanic, ritualistic way. But with
Wild.
yeah, with that said, hey, everybody, thank you very much for tuning in live. Dave, thank you very much for coming in as well.
Thanks, man.
Tomorrow's episode will be Open Lines Friday. Get your guys' questions if you have questions about tonight's show. Tuesday's episode, we'll be chatting Friday, 10:30 p.m. Central Standard Time live. Dave, thanks again. We hope to see you again soon. You guys have a great night as well. Until we see you tomorrow, question everything, friends. Until next